Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside the Inferno. I'm Roman Martinez.
And I'm Courtney DeWallaby. Thank you for joining us. After a great opening game to kick off the Sun Devil football season, Arizona State made history, marking its first time ever beating an SEC team. Ryan Pasesnik has all the details.
Coming off their dominating Week 1 performance against Wyoming last week, Arizona State would look to exact that performance in Week 2 versus Mississippi State. And while that seemed to be the case early on, things got interesting. And you might say they seemed to yo-yo out of control. The Sun Devils kicked off their second game ever in the Big 12 Conference on Saturday night, facing off against their SEC opponent in the Mississippi State Bulldogs in front of a packed Mountain America Stadium. Arizona State established the run game on offense early and often throughout the game. The Sun Devils scored points on all 4 of its offensive possessions in the first half, with a pair of touchdown runs coming from quarterback Sam Leavitt and 2 field goals from kicker Ian Hershey. On the defensive side of the ball in the first half, the Sun Devils came up with big plays against the Bulldog offense in both the run and pass game. The Arizona State defensive line created havoc for Mississippi State quarterback Blake Shapen, coming up with a strip sack fumble in the second quarter forced by defensive lineman Clayton Smith and returned for a scoop and score touchdown by C.J. Fite. Arizona State rumbled into halftime leading 27-3. But while Arizona State seemed to be firing on all cylinders in the first half, the second half featured plenty of fireworks. After ASU kicked a field goal on its first possession of the second half, Mississippi State would start to heat up, scoring touchdowns on 3 of its last 4 possessions. On the Bulldogs' last possession, Shapen found wide receiver Kevin Coleman for an 80-yard touchdown, his second touchdown pass of the night, to pull Mississippi State within 7 points with 5:27 left in the game. But it was too little too late. On Arizona State's last possession, the Sun Devils needed a big play to run out the clock, and they got one. Leavitt handed the ball off to running back Cam Skattebo, who took the ball to the 10-yard line of Mississippi State, and that would do it. Skattebo would account for a career-high 262 of the Sun Devils' 359 rushing yards in the game, as ASU wins 30-23, marking their first 2-0 start since 2021 and the first time Arizona State defeated an SEC team in program history. It had previously been 0-5 against SEC teams.
I knew from last week, coming out of a Mountain West game and beating them by 40, I knew that Coach Arroyo and Coach Dillingham were going to put this one on my back if they needed to be on my back. These guys stepped up to the challenge all week, and they did a great job in practice all week. We repped, both the 4 down and the 3 down front. So we were ready for both of them. But I mean, I'm always expecting to have it in my backpack, but it's not an every week thing. And this week it was. So I was excited to do that. I'm glad I was able to do that. I'm glad these guys trust me to be able to do that. And yeah, I love this game.
I think it's the first time in school history, 10,000 students in the student section, back-to-back games, which is awesome. I mean, you could feel the energy in the stadium. This is a fun place to be in when it's rocking. And hopefully, we can go out and play good football on the road the next 2 weeks and come back to another rocking stadium.
The Sun Devils will look to stay perfect on the season as they will travel to San Marcos, Texas to take on the Texas State Bobcats on Thursday. Kickoff will begin at 4:30 p.m. Arizona time. Reporting in Tempe, I'm Ryan Pasesnik, Inferno Intel.
Thanks for the update, Ryan. Taking a deeper dive into the impact player of the game is our very own Ernie Jimenez.
Last Saturday's 30-23 win over Mississippi State saw Cam Skattebo rush for a career high of 262 yards on 33 carries. Skattebo's 33 carries are the most by any FBS player this season. His final run was also his longest, a 39-yard burst to the Mississippi State 12, which helped the Sun Devils run out the clock. With an impressive average of 7.9 yards per carry, he recorded the second highest single-game rushing total in program history, just behind Eno Benjamin's 312 yards against Oregon State in 2018. His 12 runs of 10-plus yards, all coming against Mississippi State, lead the nation. His top-tier performance is drawing in attention from national outlets. He was named as the AP National Player of the Week and the Doak Walker National Running Back of the Week. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Ernie. Arizona State continued the winning streak on Thursday night as they played on the road at Texas State. Our Mahir Sinhasan is here to share the details of the exciting win.
Thanks, Courtney. I know I'm here in a suit and tie, but I should be wearing a cowboy hat and some stirrups because this game was a Texas shootout. A shootout where the Sun Devils were the last team standing as they beat Texas State 31-28, starting the season 3-0 for the first time since 2019. This was a very back and forth game. You punt the ball, I punt the ball, you score a touchdown, I score a touchdown. But that changed late in the fourth quarter when Justin Watley recovered a fumble in Texas State territory, leading to a 22-yard field goal from Ian Hershey. From there, the Sun Devils got an interception and a stop on fourth down before running back Skattebo ran the clock down for the victory. Head coach Kenny Dillingham said after the game that his team is much stronger than they were last year, both physically and mentally. After having the weekend off, the Maroon and Gold will be nice and rested for their first in-conference game against Texas Tech next Saturday.
Thanks, Mahir. ASU definitely looks stronger this year. A lot of that strength coming from behind center. Our Adam Cuden has more on the Sun Devils change at quarterback.
Thanks, Roman. The first 2 weeks seemed to be a breeze for ASU redshirt freshman starting quarterback Sam Leavitt, as the team cruised to 2 early season victories behind a strong running game and a dominant defense. However, yesterday the Sun Devils faced some adversity against Texas State, and it fell upon Leavitt to will his team to victory. So without further ado, let's take a look at last night's Sun Devil win through the lens of Leavitt. We're going to start late in the second quarter as Leavitt drops back to pass. We're going to pause it right here. Look how far back he is when he makes this throw, about at his own 40-yard line, about 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to find Jordan Tyson deep down the left sideline for a 52-yard passing touchdown. That's a throw that Leavitt has struggled to make throughout the first 2 weeks. He's missed Tyson in particular on that deep throw, but here in a big spot, down 21-7, team needs a big time throw, and Leavitt is able to come through and find Tyson to really change the momentum of this game, bring ASU back within a score, and now we're going to cut to 21-14 at 3rd down and 4. Leavitt going to face some pressure here, but stand strong in the pocket to find Tyson across the middle. Another strong throw for Leavitt to Tyson, and this is something ASU fans are very familiar with. Leavitt making something happen with his legs. In this case, he makes a touchdown happen as he's able to run into the end zone to tie the game up going into the half. But I mentioned the adversity. It's going to come here early in the second half as that pass just a little bit too hot for his tight end. It's going to be tipped up in the air and intercepted. So now the question remains, how will Leavitt respond? Well, he responded like a veteran and not a freshman. So here he rolls out, finds a receiver down the field, and now we're going to see Leavitt's best play of the night. Pause it right here. You're going to see that Leavitt is not really in a great spot to make a play here. He's got 2 defenders right there to make the tackle, but he puts his foot in the ground and gets going. He's going to scamper all the way down to the Texas State territory, and that's going to set up ASU to tie the game up with a game-tying touchdown. Here in the fourth quarter, more composure from Leavitt as he's able to stand strong in the pocket once again and find his tight end, Shimon Mateer, down the middle of the field. Look at him just look the backer down and fire it to his tight end over the top. A nice throw there from Leavitt. ASU is able to work the field position game and run out the clock as they're able to pick up a 31-28 victory. Now let's take a look at the final stat line for Leavitt. 246 passing yards, 40 rushing yards, and 2 total touchdowns. He did have 1 interception, but overall, it was a gutsy effort from ASU starter to lead his team to a victory and make a statement early in his career. Leavitt now looks to carry this momentum into Big 12 play next week against Texas Tech.
Thanks, Adam. Sun Devil Soccer beat Utah Tech on Sunday with a game-winning goal. Roland Phelps has the story.
This past weekend, the Sun Devils took care of business in a late-season matchup against Utah Tech. Utah's defense proved to be a formidable opponent for the Devils, with many looks being disrupted by a Tech defender. Head coach Graham Winkworth had a few words on the team's mid-game formation change.
We played a 4-2-4, but in the second half, and yeah, it's very offensive, very offensive, with lots of width in the final third, but it pins a back 4. They can't come out. They've either got to put an extra defender in, or we're 1v1 all over the place, which we were for good parts of that half.
A chaotic finish would lead to an ASU win after a late game goal in the 90th minute. The first half resulted in an offensive stalemate. However, ASU would start the second half hot, scoring quick and early. That would later be matched by Utah Tech. However, ASU showed their perseverance, scoring late with a game-winning goal. Cameron Valadierez spoke to us about the final moments of the game and the last-second goal.
And so I think Ine and Kez and I were all on the same page, like we've got another chance, let's go for it, to just win at the last second. So it's a little dramatic, but I think we got the job done eventually. Kez placed it really well. I think she saw me and picked me out really well. And I think it was bouncing around a little bit. I got the first touch and then it landed in front of me, and our strength coach Vito said that all the lifting we've been doing paid off because I just blasted it. It was like, that thing's going in no matter what, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
ASU is headed into their biggest conference game of the year against BYU on Thursday with positive momentum as they secure this win and they look for another in their next match. With Inferno Intel, this has been Roland Phelps signing off.
After coming off a 1-0 loss to BYU on Thursday night, ASU soccer will take on the Houston Cougars next Thursday. The match will take place at the Carl Lewis International Complex on Thursday, September 19th at 5 p.m. This will be the Sun Devils' first date with the Cougars since 2012, looking to pick up their 6th win on the season, currently holding a 5-1-2 record.
Number 14 ASU volleyball opened the Nebraska Classic with a sweep over Wichita State. Junior outside hitter Bailey Miller led the Sun Devils with 13 kills. However, ASU head coach J.J. Van Niel has his toughest test of the season against the number 5 Nebraska Cornhuskers. The match will take place later today as ASU looks to remain perfect on the season.
ASU's women's golf finished in 4th place at the Annika Intercollegiate. The Sun Devils had 3 golfers finish in the top 15. Those included were redshirt sophomore Patience Rhodes, junior Beth Coulter, and junior Paula Schultz-Hansen. ASU will participate in the Mason Rudolph Championship in Franklin, Tennessee next week. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Inside the Inferno. Courtney, it's been an honor to share the desk with you.
Thanks, Roman. Make sure to stay up to date on our in-depth coverage of ASU athletics throughout the year on our website, infernointelmedia.com, and on social media at Inferno Intel. For Roman Martinez and our entire crew, I'm Courtney DeWallaby. Thanks for tuning in to Inside the Inferno.